Put a finger down if you washed your wefts. Make sure they were beautifully conditioned in silicone mix. You dried them overnight and you went over to your hairstylist and she washed your hair, blew you out, did a good braiding base. What is it called? A base, a weave base. Covered it with the net. You pulled out your Mercy hair extensions. She sewed it in. Gave you this fire side part weave only for it to unravel in less than a week. I actually found these out, found the loose wets at a day before a week, but then I realized that they had been loose almost after like 4 days of me wearing it. So I took everything down and my plan was actually to just take my whole hair down. But I had a few projects to do and I needed to get some kind of use out of this braiding base because if you know me, you know I'm tender-headed. And one thing I cannot do is just change my hairstyle back to back like that because if I do that, my head will hurt, my hair might fall out, and I couldn't do it. Okay. So I went ahead and decided to try to see if I could reinstall this hair, get some use out of it, and then go ahead and undo it. And as I'm talking, the plan is to finish uploading this video and go undo the sewing that I did. Okay. So initially I was going to throw away this net, and I actually did throw it away, but I dug it back out of the bag and I decided to use it to, lay down my hair because I've never done, or I haven't done a weave on myself since 2008. And yeah, it was given, what am I doing? The good thing is I am a wig maker. I can sew a wig, and I have wigs that I have sewn that have lasted many years. And I still have wigs I've made 6-7 years ago that are still doing really good. And my mom is a dressmaker, so I know how to sew. I decided to go ahead and just lay down the tracks however I can, check in the back of my head periodically to make sure that I don't have any crazy big spaces, which I ended up having because I'm not a professional weave maker. I'm a professional wig maker. Okay. So I decided to, lay down some tracks. I know how to sew, so I just followed the same stitching I would do if I were making a wig. As far as laying down the tracks, however, I know it didn't work out so well, but it did what it was supposed to do. And as you can see, I am gently pushing this needle in, making sure that the track is laying down flat before I pull it. And I always have this specific stitch that I have to loop it through. That way it gives like tiny little knots on each stitch. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm using a nylon thread, and if you know, nylon thread is very skinny. It's almost invisible, almost the thickness of hair, and if you're not very careful, it can get tangled very easily. So if you can actually work with nylon thread, I feel like you will be an amazing weaver. Anyway, I laid down this track as best as I could. Now what I realized is after the second time I flipped it over, the side where the part was had already reached the leave out part. Okay, so I ended up having to be strategic with the way I was laying the tracks. That way I can get it on the other side of the head. One thing I didn't like for my first install was that the hair came all the way to the front, and I know that people do that. It wasn't bad. It's just that whenever you flip the hair over, you could see the track, and it wasn't a good look for me. I would have definitely kept this hair in for at least a month or two, but the tracks lifting just got me. Generally, when I get my weave done by either by Lush Mane or by P Beauty, by maybe like a month or after my second or third wash, that's when I notice that some of my tracks are loose. Then I go ahead and book a maintenance appointment where I go in, they, secure tracks that are loose, and they'll also move the tracks up from wherever they've slid. If they've slid back after my hair has grown out, they move the tracks up. That way it gives it a nice fresh look. But this one, within a week, it was already looking bad and I just couldn't shake it. I literally had hair depression for about 4 days of me getting my hair done, and I didn't know why. I felt like my hair didn't look the way it looked when I initially got it done. And it wasn't until I decided, let me just go look at the tracks and see what was happening, that I realized that I was depressed about my hair because the tracks had moved and the hair didn't look the same. Okay, so I found these Lulu Maduritos from, we traveled through Miami airport a while ago, and I saw these Maduritos and I was like, oh my God, I love ripe plantain chips. So I wanted to try it. I picked up a few bags and they were really good. So as soon as I got home, I went over to the Lulu's website and I bought 2 boxes of this Maduritos. Yes, I love them. They're so good. Everybody in the family loves them. Absolutely delicious. If you're somebody who likes plantain chips and you like ripe plantain chips, because yes, I'm Ghanaian, I like ripe plantains. So ripe plantain chips is a no-brainer. Definitely check them out. But anyway, I just flipped these tracks over because when I used to make wigs, I would just flip tracks over. I barely cut any tracks. So until I get to the end of it, I don't cut any tracks. I laid down the tracks as best as I could. Don't ask me to show you how to lay the tracks, because honey, I don't know. It was by pure miracle that the back of my head had hair covering each and every track and it didn't look crazy. Okay, I am impressed with how I stitched my hair. I have had this in for about a week now. Actually, it's exactly a week since I stitched this in myself. My tracks have not moved. They are in place, and it's going to be very difficult for me to take these down because, honey, my stitches are in there. Okay, you can put your finger down now, okay? I'm sorry. You can put your finger down now. I love the lady that did my hair. She is a very good natural hair stylist. It doesn't hurt when she does your hair. The only thing is that I feel like trying to get into like a weave type of hairstyle. Lush Mane can't do my weave right now. The books are closed. The books are full until they come back online. So once they come back online, I will go back to Lush Mane. But in the meantime, while my other stylist is booked and Lush Mane is booked, I am on the market looking for a new person to do my weave, preferably somebody who is experienced with closures and or somebody who can give me a very flat looking sew-in that I can switch up. This is how I did it. This is how it came out. I didn't even do anything. I just ended up cutting the ends a little bit just so it can look nice and flowy. I had a ton of hair left over. It's sustaining me. I really do want to take it out still because this is not professionally done. I don't want to do it myself. And let me know if you have any suggestions of weavologists in the DMV area that I could visit. That would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. Love you lots, and I'll see you in my next video. Hopefully it's not another ordeal video because I'm tired.